Did he write that on his own?
I believe so. A little help from BK. She usually helps the students.
I was wondering. Yeah, he was amazing.
Yeah, he was. He's a great kid.
I lost everybody. I can't see anybody now.
Oh, there he is.
I don't know what I did.
Victoriano.
I only see myself, and I don't want to see myself. I know that.
Well, if you press on the little pin, is there a pin on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen? With like three little green dots. Is there a pin on the bottom right-hand corner?
Yeah. Oh, there it is.
Your screen? Yeah, it'll bring up everyone on the side.
No, I don't see that. I don't see a pin. Are you kidding? I was trying to get
a thumbtack.
I was trying to get my speaker going, and I did, but I lost everybody, and sure as heck don't want to see myself. It's ugly enough. I don't want to see myself.
Son. Yeah.
We see you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but like I said, I don't want to see myself. I want to see y'all.
There's three, Mr. Garza, there's three dots on the bottom right. If you kind of move your cursor down there.
Well, actually, I'm using my computer, so it's not on it. I hear you. I see there's 12 people on there, but I don't see, and I see when I click on the right, I see there's all these people on there, but I don't see you anymore. I had you all a while ago, but you couldn't hear me. And when I did that, I erased everybody, and all those pretty faces disappeared on me. And that's not good.
All right, y'all ready?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
All right. I'd like to welcome everybody to the special meeting of the Board of Trustees, East Central Independent School District Board of Trustees, being held on September 22nd, 2020, beginning at 3:30 p.m. Madam Secretary, can we have a call roll?
Yes, sir. Del Brazil.
Present.
Victor Garza.
Here.
James Mulkey.
Here.
Monique Presses. Steve Bryant. Mr. President, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Move on to item 2, prayer and pledge. Mr. Scott, who do we have today?
We have Dr. Fuller.
Awesome.
All righty. I'll start with the prayer. Heavenly Father, bless all endeavors, especially today's meeting. Guide us in our discussions, enlighten our minds in every decision that we make. Give us your grace that we may effectively do our parts as public servants. Bless our plans, programs, and projects so that we may achieve our objectives. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Please stand for the pledge.
We have a flag.
Picture it in your mind if you don't have one.
All right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, indivisible. Thank you.
Oh, let me redo my camera. All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Fuller. We will move on to item 3, public comments. Do we have any public comments? No. Ashley is waiting no. So I guess that means no. All right, we'll move on to item 4, action agenda. Action agenda, item A, approval of the waiver to request to extend the start of the 2021 school year transition beyond the 4-week limit. Mr. Toscano?
Yes, sir, Mr. President and trustees. As you're aware, the agency did give all school districts in Texas flexibility for the first 4 weeks of school to offer whichever they preferred to offer, either remote or a combination or a hybrid type schedule, that we can do that for 4 weeks. And as you know, we've had a very structured reentry plan that we started remotely, and we've since been reentering students from the first week essentially until now. We're just over 25% of our students on any given day at every campus. We have about 10 to 15% of our students that are attending every day because of a lack of connectivity or because of their very specific educational needs. And then all other students have been divided into one of two groups within our emergency schedule. Over the last couple of weeks, we've been gradually re-entering students who are either struggling with remote instruction and need more face-to-face, or parents have requested because of their struggles academically that they be able to come more frequently. And so we've been doing that at every campus with the intentions of getting to the place where we were serving every child face-to-face who wanted face-to-face instruction. We believe that at all of our schools, that'll be somewhere around 50% of our student body, based on the 3 surveys that we've done and based on the first 4 weeks of school. So the board now has the authority to continue to give us flexibility over the next 4 weeks to continue with our phased reentry plan, with a goal of starting October 5th and beyond, we would be fully deployed in our reentry plan and be able to serve every child in the district that prefers to be receiving instruction face-to-face. And so your approval of this waiver to be submitted to TEA would give us the ability to phase up to October 5th. And then at that point forward, then we would be serving every student face-to-face that wanted to be served face-to-face. So what we have also been doing is continuing to monitor the Metro Health data dashboard as it relates to COVID-19. As you are all aware, that data has been trending very favorably, although last week there was a very small spike in positivity in positive cases. I think we went from 90 positive cases the previous week to 105 positive cases. So it wasn't substantial. We're continuing to monitor that. There has been, we don't know if that was because of lagging effects of Labor Day weekend, or what we hear from Metro Health is it could be a backlog in test data. All being the case, we do believe that the trend line is positive, that our phased-in plan will continue to be appropriate, and that by October 5th, every child that wants to be in school will be in school. And along the way, staff is continuously making adjustments to ensure that kids are distanced, that our structures and routines throughout the day are keeping everybody safe. And I'm happy to report that we have not had any issues with staff or students following all of those protocols. And the cases that we've had of COVID-19 have been contained, have been quickly contact traced and communicated with all who are in proximity or in close contact. And in almost no cases did we discover that it was spread at school. And did we discover that we needed to quarantine anybody outside of who was directly exposed or was positive. So our protocols are working. Everybody's following the expectations. And so for all those reasons, we feel like October 5th is a good target, and we're going to be ready to serve everybody every day who wants to be here at that time. So I'd be happy to answer any more questions or any questions the board might have about that.
Okay, so right now we're doing about 50%. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. So we're doing, on any given day, there'll be close between 25 and 30% who are physically here, because about 10 to 15%, depending on the campus, are here every day.
Okay.
And then the rest of the student body is split into 1 to 2 groups. And the ones that want to come face to face, on one week, they'll come Monday, Wednesday, Friday. On the next week, they'll come Tuesday, Thursday. And on the off days, they'll be remote. Now, there are still a percentage of families, we think in the neighborhood of 30%, whose children are choosing remote only every day. They're not coming at all, even though they have the option. And so our plans by October 5th are to combine group 1 and 2. These are the students who have been coming face to face, and invite back any families who have indicated that while my child's been remote, I'm comfortable with them coming face to face now. So we're going to bring them back as well. And we're also taking a look at students who are struggling academically, who have not been coming face to face. And we're strongly encouraging them to come face to face, because remote is not working. And we feel like we've got evidence that we can keep their children safe at school. We also know the TEA reported last week that in the first, through September 13th, there's a less than 1% positivity rate with over 1.1 million students actually attending face-to-face in Texas. Less than 1% of those have been tested positive. And over 800 employees or staff of school districts have been at work since from August 17th roughly to September 13th, and less than 1% positivity rate of school district employees as well. So I think not only here in East Central are we seeing that we're able to keep everybody safe, but across the state, it looks like schools are a safe place, and that kids and staff are doing what they need to do to make sure that we're following all the guidelines and protocols. And as I mentioned, when there is a COVID case, which there will be and there will continue to be until we get on the other end of this pandemic, that we can contain the effects of it and continue moving forward with continuity of instruction and operations of our school district.
Hey, Mr. T, on October the 5th, what is the percentage of students we can have face-to-face?
So as of October 5th, according to Texas Education Agency, there is no percentage cap. We have to serve every child that wants to be here face-to-face. The 50% that I keep referring to that's what we've seen in our surveys and in actual attendance during the emergency schedule time period. We've seen about half of our students show us that they are willing to come face to face. So we're anticipating when we bring the two groups together that are coming on alternating days, along with the students that are already coming face to face, that will be anywhere from 47% to about 57%, depending on the campus.
Okay. And the students that want to come back on October the 5th, what do they do? They need to do another survey or what? So
at this point, the principals feel like they know everybody who wants to come back. So the ones that are in group 1 and 2 who have been actually showing up on the days they're scheduled, they're going to communicate with them that you're on, as of October 5th, you can come every day. Now, those families still have the option to say, hey, I kind of like the alternating day schedule. So they could stay on that if they choose, but they're going to be invited and have the opportunity to come every day. The ones that are struggling academically, we can't make them, but we're going to strongly encourage them to be here every day face to face. And they can also choose to stay remotely as well.
Okay. The ones that remotely that want to come back October 5th, how do they let the teachers, the school know?
So we're going to we are going to reach out to the community and let them know. Anybody who was remote, and we're kind of still grappling on whether we need to send a formal survey out or just make personal contact. So like at the elementary campuses, it's a small enough number and they know who they are. They're going to make personal phone calls.
Gotcha.
At the high school and at the 2 middle schools, we're contemplating sending a survey just to the remote only families to see if they have an interest in coming face to face. And we have already been notified by a few at each of those secondary campuses that want to come over.
One more question. How is transportation doing with the guidelines? Is that working pretty good?
It's working fantastic. Everybody's following the guidelines, that they're coming on the bus, they're wearing masks, they disinfect the bus before they get on, they disinfect after, and while they're traveling, they got windows down, every other window down or windows cracked, and kids are sitting one to a seater with siblings. And so that's been working well, and they'll make some minor adjustments as we continue to ramp up the number of students. But all in all, kids are doing great. Staff are monitoring the kids great, and everything's been working well.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
I had just sort of a question, I guess. So let's just say we're at October 5th or whatever, and we have the maximum. We have the ones that are already there that are doing every other day. We have them. We've been strongly encouraged and got the other ones that we want. And of course, we'll have the ones that have already started face to face that week after that had no access and that kind of thing. In terms of being inside, are there going to be any ramping up of, like, with the interior part in terms of the airflow and those kinds of things? Or do we already have that in place regardless? I know we have it in place. Do we already have it in place to the maximum so that if, let's say, if we brought in, and people just, as we go on, time into this, say maybe December or whatever, that more of our people will want to be face to face. In fact, we would probably have a significant number face to face and just a very small number that might want to get through the flu season or whatever until we get back to the total. Does that make sense? I'm just wondering how, the progression of what other things that we will be doing to simulate as much as possible a full campus.
Yes, ma'am. So we have all protocols in place, and we believe that we can accommodate safely the number of students that we're projecting, and even a little more than that in the classroom and in the building. And working with Metro Health, the thing we have to assure is that they're wearing masks, and that to the extent possible, we're keeping them 6 feet apart. And we believe that we can do that and accommodate all the students that we anticipate coming October 5th, and gradually over time, a few more. Our biggest challenge is during breakfast and during lunches, because when they eat, they have to take the mask off, right? So we're making adjustments, particularly at the secondary level, as we speak, to the logistics around lunches and the logistics around breakfast, to ensure that that we're going to have to be really diligent about distancing in those times, because of the fact that mask wearing will be intermittent at best. And as far as air quality, I want to share with the board that, our energy management specialist, Julio Alonso, is the president of the TEMA organization, which is the state organization around energy management in schools. And because of that, he was able to access some funds through the state of Texas that enabled the district to bring in a group that has been going through all rooftop units in the entire district and tuning them up with the grant funds that came from the state. So in other words, free to the district. We're getting Freon levels topped off. We're getting belts checked. We're getting coils cleaned. We're getting filters replaced. And so that's helping with air quality. In addition to that, we're turning the units on 2 hours before students and staff arrive, so that we can get a complete cycling of that air in those buildings. And that was recommended by TEMA. So we feel like indoor air quality is being addressed as well.
Wow. Well, I'm excited to hear that, because, I know about the science of droplet versus airborne. I know a lot about that, more than I want to know. But I also know that the public is hearing, going back and forth between scientists, epidemiologists, and all of this, discussing this. And so I don't want to get into a word bash kind of thing with that, and not have people that are doing the work understand that it's important, just generally speaking. It's safer outside than it is inside because of the movement of the air. But there are things in place where you can make the inside safer. And so that's really where my question was kind of coming from, because otherwise people hear things on sound bites in the news or whatever, and you've got scientists kind of, going with each other and that kind of thing. But overall, I think the message is, you can make it safer inside, putting into place the things that you guys have already done, and work with Metro Health. So that pleases me. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else?
Anybody got any more questions or any other questions?
I'm good.
All right, I guess we can move on to the recommendation.
Mr. President, I recommend board approval of the waiver request to extend the start of the 2021 school year transition beyond the 4-week limit as presented.
We have a recommendation from the superintendent to approve the waiver request to extend the start of the 2021 school year transition beyond the 4-week limit. Do I have a motion?
So move.
I have a motion from Mr. Victor Garza. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Claudio Barrientos.
That was Dell.
That was Dale. Oh, I'm sorry. Dale Brazil. There you go. Sorry, Mr. Brazil. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Quick question. Mr. Bryant, you're on, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
How you doing, Mr. Bryant?
I'm doing exceptionally well. How are you?
I'm doing well. We just had the vote. I guess you're approved. You had you approved it as well?
I did.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, we can move on to adjournment. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion. We have a second. We are adjourned via unanimous consent. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it, everybody.
Again, Jim.
Hey,
Bye-bye, y'all.
Bye.
Mr.